Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother, and the message that he sent to me reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? Oh yes, I listened to that confession of that woman who was saying that she killed a person because they were fighting for water. And I want to tell your listeners that yes, it happens. You know that out there are some people who actually think that life revolves around them, the whole world revolves around them. And I also want to discourage people from being violent, because violence will never solve anything. People should not fight, because the moment that you are being violent towards other people, yes, you might see as the person that you'll be fighting against as someone that is very weak than you are, and that is the person that is very dangerous, because when you see that you cannot defeat someone physically, then that person will say, okay, this one I have to deal with him spiritually. That is what happened to me at that time. After I had fought with this other guy that I used to work for, this man, like when I started working for him, he was fortunate enough because he was amongst the first few people that started working as delivery drivers for Take a Lot and Mr. D. So at that time, they would go to Take a Lot and then they would apply. And since there was a lot of need for the drivers during those days, then they were able to get the motorbikes, those ones that we use. So he went and he got his first motorcycle, then he got another one. So this guy, he ended up having motorbikes, and he ended up having 10 motorcycles and 10 drivers. And these guys, they were all working for him, and he had another car that he was using as a delivery driver for Mr. D. So when we were working for this guy, he was not paying us nicely, because the disadvantage was that we were not working directly for Mr. D, but we were working for this guy who had gotten this opportunity. When I started working for this guy, he told me that if I was going to be able to reach my weekly targets, then he will be able to give me a lot of money. But then when the month end will come, he will start to give you a lot of stories like, you are damaging my bikes and I'm not making any money at all. This is how I met this guy. We were renovating this other mall since I was working in the construction industry. I then spoke with him since he saw that I was from Zim. So he asked me how much I was getting paid. I then told him that I was only getting paid about 3,000 at the company where I was working. So he then convinced me and he said, you can come and work for Mr. D. You are going to make more than that. I was like, okay. Then I started working for him. The first month, this guy, he was faithful enough to give me 4,500 rands, and I was happy. I was happy because I was now able to take care of my wife and my kids back home. Then the following month, he started complaining, and he was like, you are damaging my motorbikes, because even though I had a license, I had taken this license like a very long time ago when I was still in Zim, when I was still working on this other farm, even though I had used a motorbike before, but I needed to relearn the skill again. So he taught me again. So he was like, since you are still learning, but you are damaging my motorbikes. But Brother Nashi, this man, he was just cruel. How can you say that someone is damaging your motorbike, yet the person is able to reach their weekly targets? So a few days before month end, then he will take the motorbike from me and he will say that, do you know that you have damaged my motorbike? I have to go and fix it. How much am I going to use to fix this bike? So I cannot give you a lot of money. You know, the problem with a black man is that he would always find a way to rob you. This motorbike that I was using, I would use it like it will be in perfect condition from the beginning of the month until the last week of the month. That is when he will tell you that my bike is broken, so use this one because I want to fix the other one. So I thought that maybe it was getting fixed, until one day I went to the mechanic and he said that, the motorbike that you use, your boss just brings it here for a few just general services and touch-ups, but that one, it is very strong. It does not get broken like the other ones that were being used by my other workmates. I then said, what am I supposed to do? So we were having a conversation, me and these other guys whom I used to work with, and they said that they had driven for this guy for a very long time, and that is what he does. He takes advantage of other people. And they said that if you are going to make money with Mr. D, you have to deal with it directly so that you can be paid. I also wanted to be in the game, so behind my back I then went to take a lot, and I then spoke with them, and everything was approved, and I got my motorbike, which I was like renting to buy. So whilst I was working, Brother Nash, I saw that I was making a lot of money, but I was scared of my boss. So I made sure that I would not go around the places where I knew that he would be hanging around. Like, I was only making deliveries on the outskirts of town, on the other side of the town. That was where I was working. One day, when he came to this other KFC where I used to go and pick up some deliveries, I never thought that maybe he would come, because he does not like to hang around downtown. He came there as I was standing in line with other Mr. D drivers waiting for our orders. And he said, you are still around. And he said, whom are you waiting for right now? So when we collected our orders, we then went outside, and I showed him the bike, which was very brand new. And he was like, congratulations, man, congratulations. This is really great. Now you can work. We should thank God for this. So, there are those people that can even tell you that they want to pray with you, but deep down in their heart, they will be filled with so much hatred. Those ones that do not want you to succeed. That was what this guy was doing. He was pretending as if he was excited for me that I was now operating my own motorcycle. But this guy, he then hired some thugs. He hired some thugs because he wanted me to get killed. The fortunate part about it was that he hired some guys, and one of the guy came and told me, because we come from the same village, and he was like, after he had been given some money by my ex-boss, that was when he thought about me. He thought about the way that I come from a poor family, and he thought that it was not a good idea to have me killed, because they wanted to rob me just to punish me. He came and he said, do your own stuff. Do not be afraid of this man. He's not going to do anything to you. He won't touch you because he's afraid of me. So I finally got the confidence, and I returned back to the mall where he was working, because at that mall it is very busy. You can make a lot of money around that mall. So whilst we were working there, like, I could feel that there was so much tension that was there between me and my ex-boss, because he says that the mall, it is more like his territory. So I was like invading his territory, because he only wants his guys to work there. There was too much tension that were between me and him. We kept on working and avoiding each other until this other time when I was on my phone. Then a notification came, and then I accepted the order. He then came to me and he said, why did you accept that order? Because I was about to accept that order. Normally, that is not something that we usually fight over, because you know that if someone accepts an order, there will be another order that will come maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, but indefinitely you will get another order. But he came to the place where I was, because I was preparing to get onto my motorbike. I did not even have my safety helmet on. So he came as if he wanted us to negotiate. So I had my guard down. I was not in a defensive mode. He then had battered me, and I fell to the ground. When he saw that I had fallen to the ground, he came and he pounced on me, and he started punching me. He hit me so bad, Brother Nashi, that I was really confused. The other drivers then rushed, and they said that we had to stop whatever that we were doing. This guy, even though I kept on working, the guy kept on threatening me. I did not have any peace at all. I kept on suffering, because I said, if I stop working, then who is going to feed my wife and my children? I have to be strong for them. I kept on avoiding him. So when my wife knew about this situation, like my wife in the village from where she comes from, I can say that it is the headquarters of all the witches that are in Zim. That is the village from where she comes from. I spoke with my wife, and my wife was like, this one, we are going to get him sorted out. So I only begged my wife not to get my ex-boss killed. My wife then went and spoke with this other witch, and then she was given a hunting knife, with that one with a wooden casing. And after she had been given that hunting knife, she was told that she was supposed to go to this other tree, and she was supposed to tie my boss's she was supposed to write my boss's name on a piece of paper, and she was supposed to tie that piece of paper on that tree and stab that hunting knife into the ground. And that is what happened, Brother Nashim. Later on, my boss, he then started suffering, like he was really sick. He could not even drive his car, because right now his legs, there are many times when they get so swollen. And that hunting knife, I have it here with me in South Africa. So whenever I want my boss to fall sick, all that I do is that I remove the blade from the wooden casing. Then he'll start to get sick. There is that disease that they call elephantiasis. He suffers from that disease, and when I put back the blade into the wooden casing, then that disease will go away and he will recover. This is my own story. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Sure.